And welcome back, guys. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at some interesting footage captured by CCTV security cameras from around the world. So let's jump right in without further ado. The first clip in this video? Well, I honestly don't even know how to explain this one. The driver hit the concrete barrier at the crusher, and it was clear that's where he should have stopped. Why he kept backing up after that, I have no idea. And as you can see, the final outcome was a total disaster. The next clip is even scarier than the first one. It all happened on July 3rd, 2019, at the Bystrinsky Mining and Processing Plant in the Transbaikal region, when a Balaz haul truck lost its brakes and broke through the safety berm. The driver was trying to take a turn at high speed, but the massive machine slid out of control, tipped over the berm, and plunged into the pit, ending in a monstrous fireball. Unbelievably, the truck driver somehow survived. And in this clip, I think the chances of survival for the driver of this white SUV are very slim. And here's why. The driver of the white SUV was approaching an intersection where haul trucks were passing, with no intention of stopping to let the haul truck go. And then, boom. He literally turned the SUV into a pancake. But how did this accident even happen? Well, the footage clearly shows that neither of them had any intention of stopping. Neither even hit the brakes to slow down. And we can't say they didn't see each other. At that distance, it's obvious they could both see and had time to react. The rule in our mind is that big trucks always have the right of way, especially when they're loaded. Why the driver of the white SUV didn't stop is beyond me. And just as puzzling as why the haul truck driver didn't stop when he saw the SUV wasn't going to. Anyway, this incident ended in tragedy, and my guess is that both of them were looking at their phones. Footage of a smashed car. Now tell me, what are the chances the driver survived? The next clip also comes from Russia. And honestly, most of this footage is the result of poor safety protocols. Here we see what I think is a Balaz 7513 model, if I'm not mistaken, breaking through a safety berm and plunging down a 25-meter cliff. The main reason for incidents like this usually comes down to badly built berms. They're often made from soft material, which makes them easy for a truck to break through, and on top of that, they're not built high enough. In this case, the truck caught fire right away, and incredibly, the driver survived this accident and was released from the hospital after just a few days. If you ask me, the real blame falls on the guy in the loader who built the berm, and on the company for not putting someone in charge of supervising the dumping process. We've got pretty much the same situation in this footage. Watch this Balaz truck as it approaches to dump its load. The XCMG truck dumping right next to it stopped at a safe distance, but something here just doesn't look right. And trust me, when something doesn't look right in a mine, it usually means something bad is about to happen. And there you go. Same story over and over again. No one to supervise the dumping, no properly built berms. Let's take a look from another angle. The most important thing in all of this is that the driver survived. He was released from the hospital after just a few days. But this poor guy wasn't so lucky. On May 13th, 2024, at the Kachkanar Mining and Processing Plant in the Sverdlovsk region of Russia, a Balaz haul truck went off the road while reversing and plunged straight into the quarry. Behind the wheel was a 37-year-old driver from Bashkortostan, working on a rotational basis. Sadly, he died at the scene before medical help could arrive. Following the tragedy, a criminal case was opened under Russian labor safety laws. Investigators are now checking safety documentation, questioning witnesses, and carrying out a forensic medical examination to establish the exact cause of death. If found responsible for violating safety regulations, company officials could face up to 4 years in prison. It's suspected that faulty brakes played a role. But either way, a young life was lost, all because of the company's greed for bigger profits. Blind spots are one of the biggest causes of traffic accidents, and that's exactly what happened in this case. A Volvo L350H loader ended up right in a truck's blind spot. The truck driver couldn't see it and started backing up to dump, running straight into the loader. Luckily, he was quickly warned over the radio that he was climbing onto the loader, preventing a bigger tragedy. Still, it was a very unpleasant situation for the loader operator. Same thing here. The driver of an XCMG haul truck was reversing to enter the workshop when he suddenly ran over a garbage bin without even noticing it. It could have just as easily been some vehicle instead of that bin. This was a clear oversight. One of the mechanics should have been guiding him into the workshop. The driver had no idea what was happening behind him. He only realized something was wrong when the workers rushed out of the workshop, waving their hands for him to stop. In the mine, everything is big. Even this massive 130-ton balaz, practically the size of a house, ended up in the blind spot of the truck in front of it. What I don't understand is how the lead truck didn't see the one behind him, especially since it had a rear camera installed specifically for situations like this. If it didn't have a camera, maybe I'd get it. But in this case, the blame is 100% on the driver of the first truck. He definitely wasn't paying attention to the camera. And here's one of the most famous videos showing the danger of blind spot. Even though this smaller vehicle had a flag, it parked in such a dangerous position that the balaz driver couldn't see it at all. From the Jeep driver's perspective, you can clearly see that the truck's cab is invisible. And if you can't see the cab, there's no way the truck driver can see it. So this one is 100% on the Jeep driver. They could have been crushed on the spot, but luckily they weren't. The truck driver noticed and felt something under his wheels and stopped just in time. Otherwise, he could have easily run right over them. And here's what the Jeep looked like after the accident. Once again, thanks to the driver's composure, a bigger tragedy was avoided. Here's another classic. A haul truck was crossing the railroad tracks when its dump body suddenly snagged a power line. At first glance, it looks like someone dropped a cluster bomb on the left rear tire, and at the end, well, you'll see. Just wait. The tire got so overheated that it eventually exploded, and the blast was comparable to firing a 155mm howitzer. If anyone had been standing nearby, well, that would have hurt. Here's an awkward situation. Cleaning out a large barge almost turned into a disaster when the excavator operator scooped up this small loader while it was pushing material. An unbelievable failure of communication between the two operators and the management overall. We can see there's no one supervising this complicated and dangerous job. Why do I call it dangerous? Well, because the excavator operator can't see anything that's happening down there. He wasn't even aware that he had picked up the loader. And in this footage, I definitely put the blame on the grader operator. I'm a grader operator myself, and I would never allow myself to enter the working zone of such a large machine, like a Cat 994H loader from what I can see, without first contacting the operator on the radio to let him know I'm in his working area. That's just basic safety. Man survives after smokestack crashes over him during demolition. Yep, this is real footage. An excavator operator named Tim Pfeiffer, after 2 failed attempts to knock down this historic smokestack with dynamite, decided to bring in the excavator to finish the job. While he was digging at the base of the smokestack, trying to bring it down, suddenly a shower of bricks rained down on the machine as the tower collapsed. Luckily, he somehow survived, thanks to the excavator's cab structure protecting him from the falling debris. What's interesting is that the investigation revealed Pfeiffer's state permit for possession of explosives had expired. And that's a felony charge, punishable by up to 20 years in prison. However, he did have a valid federal explosives license. This is what it looks like when a bulldozer goes into a sideslide. You just grab onto something solid and wait for it to stop on its own. And here's what it looks like when a concrete mixer skids and plunges into a ravine. A bad judgment call by the driver. He was driving on a part of road that was soft and unstable. The result is catastrophic. Just great, his wheel came off in the middle of the tracks. Luckily, the gate wasn't down. No comment on this. Greed always comes with a price. Luckily, no one was standing next to the truck. I couldn't tell you what happened here. Probably some kind of gas. But to me, it looks like a SpaceX launch pad. Like a rocket was just launched. Totally out of control. From the moon, you can tell exactly who's at fault. Luckily, he ran into the truck. Something happened down there with that truck. Let's head down and see what's going on. This is a real mess. The entire front axle snapped. The repair looks like it's going to be very expensive. Drop a comment below with your estimate of how much the repair will cost. And this is how they dragged it all the way from the pit to the workshop. Yup, I know, we need a tow haul for this. Happens all the time with a fully loaded dump body this long. Even the smallest bump can make it tip to the side. Kenworth, the Australian mega road train. These trucks cover thousands of kilometers in a single day, but sometimes the roads are in such bad shape that things like this happen. This driver was lucky. He got pulled out by a loader. But often, they get stuck in the middle of nowhere, and it can take days before a rescue team shows up. This truck is about to be electrocuted. The driver is safe as long as he doesn't touch any metal part of the truck. Yeah, and the camera guy definitely deserves a Darwin Award. He's shaking the camera like he's the one who just got electrocuted. How to make a pickup truck low ride in a second. Simple. Just throw 500-pound boulder on it.
It just turned into a mini truck. Low rider.
Real team spirit. After finishing the job, I'd say this is some big foundation, and that machine needs to be pulled out of there. Since there's probably no crane, the co-workers with excavators jumped in to help, and their coordination is perfect. Something terrible happened there. Luckily, the gasoline is flowing down the drainage channel. Otherwise, it would have been a disaster if it had spilled along the road. But hey, that's quite an impressive smoke wall.
Chase it. Pour the coals to it.
Story of my life. This happened to me 1,000 times. But hey, that's our job, getting stuck. Luckily for this guy, there were some powerful scrapers behind him to give him a push.
Stop. There you go. Okay,
well guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe to our channel. It really means a lot to us and we truly appreciate it. Until the next video, stay safe.